Hey guys, my name is Philip Morley, and this is part 6 of the sawhorse build video. In this video, we're going to cover shaping the foot, and also we're going to do the notch that's going to accept the top rail and the leg. Now that I have my foot laid out, I'm going to come over to the table saw and go ahead and take care of the angle, and then go to my sled to take care of the little notch that's in the bottom. I've set my miter gauge up at 10 degrees, and that should take care of the angle. I'll simply do one side first and then reset the stop and flip it over and do the other side. Now that I have those taken care of, I'm going to go over to my sled and do the notch. Using the, the master foot, the one that I've laid out, there was no need for me to lay out every single one of them. I'll just set up the stops with this guy. So I have my 2 marks, and I've set up 2 stops to the 1 mark and then the second stop to the second mark, and I'll simply go through, make the cut on each stop, and then I'll do it somewhat like a speed tenon. I'll be passing this along the blade as I go forward with it. This is a pretty messy operation. I'll be putting my mask on. It's plenty safe, but of course, just be aware of where your fingers are and take your time. There's many ways to do this. This is pretty fast. Like I said, it's pretty messy, but it's really quite effective. These are utilitarian, so it doesn't have to be super sweet. You could set up with a router, make a template to do this, but this just gets it done fast. So now I'm going to take care of the notch that's going to accept the top rail. There's many ways to do this. In my previous video, I guess it's the full length video, it's about 30 minutes long, of building the sawhorse. It wasn't really an instructional video, but if you watched it, you saw me do this in the same manner as I just did the foot on the table saw. So like anything in woodworking, there's many different ways you can accomplish the same thing. This is the preferred method that I would do in my shop. This is the mortise that I made. I'll simply set this up with a 3/4 inch spiral bit. I've already got it set up to the depth and location. I'll make one pass, and then I'll use my calipers to figure out the difference, make a shim, and go from there. So let's go ahead and do the first cut. Okay, so the first step is to do this first cut. It's 3/4 of an inch. My top rail is 1 inch. What I like to do, one, I don't have a 1 inch bit, but even if I did, I always like to undersize the first cut, get my calipers, measure the given cut, then I can go ahead and measure the actual rail thickness. It calls for 1 inch, it may be a heavy inch, it may be a shy inch, I don't know. But this way, it will give me the exact difference, and then I can make a shim and get a perfect fit every time. So I'm gonna do this on all of these, and then we'll make the shim. Okay, now that I've got the first notch done, I've got my calipers, I'm gonna go ahead and measure what that is. All right, so it says 0.7555. Really that number doesn't matter to me what that is. I just need to get it, zero that. Now that I'm at 0, I can put this to the side. This is the top rail that I'm trying to notch into it. I don't know if you can see that, it's kind of hard to do. Let's see. 0.270. 0.270. I'm going to write that down. 0.270. So now that should be the shim that I'll make. So I'll come back, zero it back at origin, and I'll go ahead and make a shim to 0.270, and we should get a perfect fit. Now that I have my shim, I'm ready to go ahead and raise this up and set the shim in and drop it back down. I went a little too far on the shim, but that's easily fixed by a couple of pieces of blue tape. And just to explain, because you can't really see behind here what's going on, this router plate is going up and down on linear bearings that's controlled by this all thread. And on that linear bearing, I have a linear bearing stop. So it's just like this little guy here. I have it already right now. This is sitting on that stop. So by me raising it up, putting this between it and the stop and putting it back down on top, it should hold and give me exactly the difference of this. It should raise it up this amount exactly. So let's go ahead, give it a go, and hopefully it works. It's always a good idea to have a test piece. That way you can make sure that it's just working how you hope it's going to work. I don't have a test piece. However, before I just move on to the other ones, I'm going to go ahead and check. So let's see if I can get into a position where I can check this. So that's perfect. You know, that technique works every time as long as you use your calipers correctly and sneak up on that shim. And like I used a couple pieces of blue tape, you got it just right. The nice thing with adding the blue tape, if you needed to, if that was too tight, you could always put another piece. Too loose, you just remove a piece instead of having to go through the planer again. This has been video 6 of the Sawhorse build video. We have all our parts ready to be glued up. Thanks for watching. Cheers.